Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech, and I want to show you how to install XBlast Tools, and I'm using a Note 3. This is on the Verizon network if you're curious, and I'm basically going to start from scratch of how you get XBlast installed. Now there's actually two ways to do it, but we're going to do it from the Play Store option, or you can download it from the XDA forum post, which I'll leave a link in the description for both items. So let's head on over to the Play Store and just hit the search and start typing in XBlast. And this is a paid app, but it's definitely worth doing. You're going to want to support this developer. Go ahead, hit install. Now of course you're going to have Xposed framework installed already, and if you need any of those kind of tips or guides, I'll leave a link in the description as well. Once you have it installed, you'll notice that you'll get a notification here at the top that it's installed, but you'll also get a notification from the Xposed framework installer app itself, and simply select it. You'll be taken to the installer app. Then you'll want to hit the check mark, and then you'll also get a notification saying that basically you'll need to reboot your device, so we'll go ahead and do that. Once you're booted all back up, let's go back to the XBlast app. You're going to want grant user permissions. This pop-up basically just says that you're going to move your stuff over to the internal storage versus the SD card. It'll back you out of the app, so you have to go back into it. And this is where you start basically customizing everything that you want. Alright, so at this point, I'm just going to walk you through all the different menus, and I'll change some stuff, not everything, and kind of give the overview and idea of what everything looks like. Okay, so from here, you're going to go to status bar. You can customize the text. You can actually just type in just about anything you want. You also have fonts to choose from. You can change the background color. The clock settings, this is going to be something that I'll actually change. You can actually hide the clock if you want. You can change the color of the clock. You can hide the AM PM, and I'll do that, and I'll also hit CenterClock. Now some of these changes won't happen until you actually reboot the phone, so we'll get to that point once that happens. You can do a network speed indicator, and that basically tells you what kind of speeds are happening up here in the status bar. Personally, I like to try to keep this area cleaned up as much as possible. There's enough notifications and icons that are going on as it is, but some people do like that option. Get some icons up here. You can hide the alarm clock icon. I do like that option because I know when I set my alarm, so I don't need another reminder. You can actually hit smart alarm icon, which basically it'll show the alarm icon before the designated time that you set it for, so that's a pretty cool custom option. Wi-Fi signal type, this is basically going to change like how on Samsung phones you get that green and orange little arrows that happen underneath the 4G LTE. Mobile signal type, battery style, now I do like to change that, and I do like the circle meter with percent. You can do the battery alignment. You can change the color, the percentage color, and also the bolt color of when it's charging. You can actually do a breathing missed call down here, which is pretty neat. Network speed indicator. Again, that's just some of your network numbers that if you want. You can enable gestures from the status bar. So basically just hit the on button, and you have left swipe, right swipe, long press, and double tap. And all of those you can customize to basically do whatever you want. You can assign it to an app, you can assign it to an action. So when you open that up, you're basically going to see either no action, home, back, menu, screen off, pause and play, next track, previous track, screenshot, and from that point you got app options there. And that goes for all of these here. All the same options, just basically choose which one you want to do. You can do vibrate on touch, so that way you know that you're doing a gesture. I do actually like that. And here is a solid icon fix. Here are your options for the notification panel. Master switch, turn it on. And this is going to be the panel, if you didn't know, is your drop down menu here. So it's going to be able to change the different aspects and whatnot within when you get a notification and what is in the design that's inside of the notification panel. You can do the title text color. You can do the content, hide notification image, notification background color, the pressed color, notification header, notification panel. You can change the speed to make it faster. You can hide the divider line, and you have the handle color. Navigation bar, turn the master switch on. You can change the background, the color, the button color, glow color. You can have an option for a show menu key. Now that's a pretty good option if you have on-screen menu options or whatnot. If you have a Samsung device, you have the back and the menu button already. You can have a back action, long press, and it will kill the foreground application. I do like that option. You have some more gestures here. Left swipe, right swipe, long press, and double tap. And again, vibrate on touch. Button height. Navigation bar, if you didn't know, it's the bar down at the bottom like you see on Nexus devices. And it'll appear down here. So if you wanted some more buttons to work with, that's a good option for you. Otherwise, I don't really recommend it for Samsung type devices. So I'm actually going to turn the master switch off. Visual tweaks, this one is pretty cool. You can do different, basically when the screen turns off, you got a fade effect, a horizontal effect, vertical effect, scale down, and I'm just going to remove it. Recent panel, you can do the master switch again, clear all recent tasks, RAM bar type, circle RAM bar size. Again guys, this is just you can customize so much of this. Basically the way I like to look at this is you're building your own ROM. And that's probably the best way I can kind of summarize what we're doing here. Now the holo theme, you got dark theme and light theme. You got a bunch of different colors here. Enable holo dark background color. We'll just leave it as black. You can go to a light theme if you want to. Now here's the primary text color. Change it to white if you want to. Secondary, divider line color, pressed color. Kind of like to change that to the pink. Pop-up dialog color and seek bar color. You just, again, so many options. You can change the keyboard if you want. Now I use Swift key, so I pretty much just use the themes involved with that, but you can change the colors with it. Toast notification, you can turn on the master switch. You got the toast style, KitKat, of course we're going to go KitKat. Got to keep up with the latest stuff, right? And we got toast color, toast BG color, fonts, and also the position of the toast notification. So that's pretty cool stuff there. Quick settings. Now quick setting tiles, you can change how many tiles you got from 3 to 8. Remove the gap. I always like to remove the gap. Tile background color. I do like to keep that on the black side. Tile pressed color. Kind of go with the gray. Tile text color, we'll go with white. Tile icon color. And I'll go with white there as well. Settings icon color, enable settings icon color, just check that off. Random setting color, and also you can set it to a specific one. You also have a custom boot animation option here, and that is going to be a file that you have on the phone itself, and that is where you would load that up from. X lock Y, this is basically your lock screen. I don't think I'll be able to demonstrate the X lock Y on the Note 3 because of the kind of, I'm on a stock rooted phone, there's no ROMs or anything like that, so the lock screen is a little bit different from just your average stock Android. So when we reboot, we'll see if it worked and go from there. But this is where you do all your options here. You can change the icons, the image, the glow dots, the lock ring, quick lock, key pin, the torch, background, enable lock screen rotation. So definitely some cool options there. For your app bar content here, set up app bar content. You can add and remove position items, app bar position, hide the labels, halo mode, vibration on touch, app bar transparency, trigger width, trigger position, trigger height. Gesture anywhere. Now this is actually pretty cool. Left edge, you can change the position with the right or left edge. You got the gestures here. You can start to add gestures. You can basically customize it the way you want. Pulse notification light, that's if you have a notification light option on your phone. So you can just turn that on, do the default, or you can change the color if you want. So that's how you change the colors if you want to. Custom values. Now, Quiethours is actually one of the newest additions to XBlast Tools, and this is a tool that you can use that is from like CyanogenMod or Slim ROMs, and this is just a very cool option, especially if you want to take advantage of it, because you can, when you enable it, basically, like if you don't want to be disturbed during meetings or during work hours while you're sleeping or anything like that, you can customize to what kind of quiet hours you want. So let's say 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. like up here, but you can mute notification sounds, mute the ringtones, and disable vibrations, disable notification light. It's like you're not going to be disturbed whatsoever if you have these enabled. You can also disable incoming text, phone calls, text message bypass. This is actually a really cool feature because if you have an emergency contact, they can actually bypass all these settings up here and still get through. So like if you want, let's say you got kids in school, you want your school phone number to be in here, they'll be able to always call you and you'll always get the notification. So it's a really cool option up here. Phone tweaks, you're going to get Fullscreencaller photo ID. I kind of like that. So you can actually disable the status bar so it's extremely full screen. You got Identicons, which is experimental. You use Identicon as a default contact picture. Identicon style. You get retro, contemporary, spirograph, and dot matrix. Now, Extreme, it's kind of a option like a lot of Samsung phones. You got the daydream kind of option. That's what this does. When your phone goes to a certain state, you get a different background and different kind of notifications like weather or alarms. And carrier label, this is actually a pretty popular feature because you can change the label here like XBlast, or you can take the Verizon wireless off and change it to something else that you like. The next setting options that we have is gradient settings, and this is basically going to be able to just change colors for that aspect. Volume button tweaks, this is actually some pretty cool stuff that you can get into, which is volume keys skip track, safe headset media volume, activates or deactivates safe headset media volume feature, which I think is actually really cool because when you start turning your volume up when you're listening to music, it's going to tell you that you're going too far, or like a warning, you know, anything past here could be damaging to your ears. You can do volume key cursor control, mute volume, adjust sound, phone call silence, face down auto mode, face down seconds, and screen timeout. Got build prop tweaks here. You have been warned, so this is actually an area that you're going to want to take your time with. Make sure that you know what you're doing before you change anything. And with that said, I don't really know much, so I'm going to back out of this before I do something I don't mean to do. Miscellaneous, and this is actually contains, this setting actually contains something that I use on a regular basis, which is the advanced power menu. And that actually gives you the reboot, reboot to recovery, fast boot, and screenshot options. You can enable all rotation angles, so even if you have your phone upside down, it'll still have a looking like it's right side up. Low battery warning, when your battery gets low, you'll get an option for a pop-up sound, pop-up only, sound only, or off. You can unlink the volume and notification, so when you adjust your notification volume, you can actually have it separate instead of together. And Samsung already does a good job with that, so I don't need to use it, but I know for some AOSP kind of style ROMs, you might want to change that around. You also have ADB paranoia mode, which immediately reboot if unknown computer is connected while device is locked and ADB is enabled. So it's a nice little security feature there. And that about wraps it up. There is the reboot and soft reboot option here, and that's going to change all your settings and basically get everything going again. So this has been a walkthrough and tour of XBlast Tools. The main feature that I want to point out is the Quiethours, because it is a new feature within XBlast. You don't have to have a ROM installed to get that anymore, so that's a really cool feature. Thanks guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you can see more videos like this.